So I got me some of that new Christian cola. You heard about it, right?
No, tell me about it. How did you?
Says right there on the bottle, Isaiah. Yeah.
Oh no.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
Oh, so hold on, real quick, because I just read this like all of 10 minutes ago. So if you haven't heard yet, President Trump, out of all the things in his busy schedule, has talked to the leadership at Coca-Cola. So Kyle, you'll be happy about this. And he said that they're going to change the recipe for the United States. No more fake sugar, all cane sugar. And he said there's people already up the chain that have already been like, yep, that's the thing. That's what we're going to do. And he's like, you'll taste the difference. It'll be good.
Now, if we could just get Pepsi to stop using Cinnamix, that would be great.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't be drinking it at all. But yeah. If you're going to drink it, at least put real sugar in it. It's not that hard.
Right. So well, that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, have y'all had any of the like the cane sugar Coca-Colas?
Yes.
I've had the cane sugar Mountain Dew.
Better yet, if you get a chance. So we've got a Mexican restaurant here where I live, and they have a little fridge where you can get bottled beverages from Mexico or whatever. And one of the things that they have there is the Mexican Coca-Cola. It is so good.
Yep.
So good. And it's in a glass bottle, and it's a large bottle, but they ain't, nothing in it. And, barely any cola, but it's so much better than what we have here.
Yeah, all my time overseas, I've had them, plenty of times, and it makes you wonder every once when you go back and you're like, why does this taste different? You're like, oh, there's a whole different recipe. We kill our people with our sodas.
Oh yeah.
How many more chemicals can we fit in here? I don't know. Try another one.
Joe,
see if they notice.
Joe, you're like 100. Did you ever get to try any with the cocaine in it?
Yeah, it was the best. That's why I've lived to be 100 years old.
They still had to like pour it in those little things at the this little bar and then mix it.
Yeah,
dude, can you only imagine? No wonder the servings were so small back then. Like it didn't take much.
Yeah, because you might stop your heart.
Yeah.
Just a little bit went a long way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah.
I was saying this goes into that theory, like you guys are talking about, like how did they build stuff back then with like the horse and buggy? Now we know they had super energy.
All right, like, boys, we're working overtime. Yeah,
hey, we don't need the horse. Strap me up. Let's go.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Junior did all his chores today without being told.
I did good, Mom, didn't I?
Oh boy. But sugar's bad for your teeth though, right?
Oh yeah.
I hear.
So anyway, I had a tooth pulled, or I had a root pulled on Monday a few days ago. So it was
them M&Ms, bro.
Well, let me tell you something. I was being a typical guy. I had a what do you call it? A cap, or not a cap. What is it called? The
like a crown or something?
Yeah, crown. That's it. So I had a crown that broke off about probably 2 years ago.
And you're just now getting seen about?
Yeah, well, it's because it got inflamed. Apparently, I probably bit into something and it got infected, and so. Yeah, so over the weekend, it just kept getting worse and worse, and to the point where the infection was pushing up into my eyeball, where my eye was starting to water. And then I finally told my wife, because I was at the point where I was like, I should probably say something before I go to the hospital and die.
Yeah, well, grown man starts crying, and you got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Come on, Joe, you didn't just rub some dirt on it, man.
Yeah, I tried. It didn't work. That was my first instinct, man. It's just to walk it off, go in the backyard, walk it around for a little bit. And I was like, well, that didn't work. So I was very thankful I was able to be seen quickly. And but the infection was so bad that the doctor I went to go see, general dentist, he looked at it and he went, no, this ain't gonna work. So he went and made a phone call immediately, and I went to see the specialist, and he got it pulled out. But man, I'm gonna tell you what.
Wait, on the weekend?
No, on Monday.
Oh, okay.
I went the whole weekend with it getting worse and worse, thinking, it'll be fine.
Let's get the stress ball.
Possibly go wrong. Yeah. And I got to the point where every time my heart would beat, it would throb. So it was like, I was like, yeah, maybe. And then my wife was a dental assistant for 30 years, and she knows all about the teeth, and she's been. So as soon as I told her, because I was like, okay, let's me just be straight up with her. Okay, this is what happened. What? And I was like, but thankfully with her connections though, to Dr. Solomon, he immediately saw me. Then they have, because his office, their practice is so big, they actually have an oral surgeon on staff, so they were able to see
Oh,
me immediately. So sometimes people have to wait. Sometimes you hey, here's some pain medicine, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
we'll
deal
see
with it for
you
four or
as soon
five
as we
days.
can. But I was very blessed that they were able to get me in there. But I will tell you this, man, I about came out that chair about 3 times. It was that was
Mm,
rough.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Well,
well,
you
glad
you
you
and
made it.
you or anybody in your family ever ice skate?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you needed to do was have a full castaway moment, get the ice skate and and just knock that thing out and
No,
go to
no, no,
sleep.
no, no, no.
Oh, that was
That was
so
so
bad, dude.
bad. He was done.
Oh, you just
No, no,
brought
no.
up a really horrible memory about that movie.
I totally
Golly.
forgot about that.
Mm,
Hey, you know
mm.
Oh
what?
my
Sometimes you gotta
gosh.
take care of yourself. He wasn't too manly. He just went in there and got it done and went to
Wait,
sleep.
remind me, did he? Yeah, did he passed out after
Oh, he
that?
went to
Didn't he?
sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see how you couldn't.
he went to sleep.
yeah. No
Tooth sleep.
Novocaine. Tooth sleep.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
he needed some of that Coca-Cola, boy. That's what he needed.
Yeah,
Right.
he was chewing on some coconut husk. That's the best he could do.
Mm, mm,
Oh
mm, mm.
gosh.
Oh
So
man,
Oh
yeah,
man,
Joe,
I
that's
know.
that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, dude.
yeah, you know it happens, but me being a Gen Xer, we're just we're like, ah, it's no big deal,
Well, at least I didn't have to strap you
Well,
down. Sounds like you handled it okay.
yeah, until I know the one procedure that I didn't see coming, and I don't know exactly what he did. He told me every time he gave me a shot, a bee sting, give me like 4 shots. Here comes another one. This one's gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he did on one of them, but it's like he took something sharp and went straight into the gums and popped it in there. 'Cause all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff started draining. That's
Ugh.
when all of me about came out of that chair at one time. I went, "Whoa!"
You might have me go out of my
Like
chair
you
right
couldn't
now.
have given me some heads up on that one. It's like I was like,
Uh,
"Holy smokes!"
Yeah, he
uh,
got in there.
Yeah, he
oh
did.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
you're a little under pressure.
Mm, 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 mm,
Under
mm, mm, mm.
pressure.
Yeah, and then they gave you some vanilla ice on the way out. Work on the
Yeah,
swelling.
but yeah.
Okay, great. Any chance we could change this subject? Because that's just good.
Let's change something to better. So let me tell you a little bit more about my weekend. So before the tooth went full blown, like you got to have emergency extraction, all the stuff.
Uh-huh.
As you can see, and a little bit in here, I got
What's
my Superman shirt on. Da,
Oh
Superman?
boy.
da, da.
Underwear
I
man. Let's
even
go.
got I even got my popcorn bucket. Da, da,
Oh my.
da. Not
You
only a
went.
popcorn bucket, but also have the cup. Da.
Oh, you are loaded down, huh?
Wait a minute, not even that one. There's more. Hold on. And a friend of mine went to the drive-in movie theater and saw it also and got this one for me.
Oh,
So
with
I
the
thought that was
utility
really
belt.
cool. With a utility belt, man.
what,
Only
what,
thing
what,
it's
what?
missing is the rest of the underwear on the bottom part of it. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what else does he need? I mean, he's got laser eyes and ice breath and X-ray vision, and what utility would he
Eh,
need to put on his belt?
Yeah, I know, right?
A piece of gum? I
And then
mean,
if you didn't think I wasn't a Superman fan, here's one of my watches that I have.
oh,
Oh yeah.
This is the
that's
one I need help with fixing, Jonathan. It's got
Seen
so
better
inside
days.
that part.
I'll
Yeah,
be there.
it's missing a pin in the back. Jonathan's supposed to help me fix it, but
Did that happen when you were in the dentist chair?
yeah, I think it did.
Here you go. I got you.
As I was swinging through the air, but yes, the Superman opens up in
Swinging through
theaters
the
on
air.
yeah.
You and your chandelier.
Oh yeah. So Superman opened up July 11th. So far pretty good. Let me if you want to, Kyle, we got let's see. Got a little image here, my boy.
Oh
Let's
boy.
Does he still
see.
have the curly Q in the front, like a
Kind
Dairy
of. Here
Queen
you
ice
go.
cream cone?
There you go, right there. That's my boy right there. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, we're back to the underwear,
oh yeah.
which is okay. It's okay. It's okay.
And he's got some
Yeah,
ready
he pulled
tidies.
this guy. He pulls it off very well.
Lord have mercy.
So anyway, it's doing really well right now. It says it's opened up to 217 million globally in its first weekend.
Wow.
Holds 83% critic score and 93% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good.
Oh, that's high.
And yeah, it's not bad. So it's a great movie. Other than I will say this, it holds to the PG-13 because it does have some languages I was a little bit surprised about for being a Superman movie, but there's no F bombs or anything like that. But they did throw some language in there, I guess, to make it more adult and to have that
Of course they
rating.
got to
But
do that.
yeah, I know. I was like, you don't need this is Superman. You don't need
Right.
that from
Does
Superman
it, does it
movie.
have any of the new woke crap in there and
No,
transgender and all that stuff?
this is probably one of the most unwoke movies I've seen in a long time. There's one part that some consider to be somewhat, but James Gunn says that and I don't want to say too much. I don't want to give away too much of the movies for people who haven't seen it yet. But he
Me.
said, no, so this part of the script here was written in way before any of this other stuff was going on in the world. So has nothing to do with that. So and I'll be honest with you, I liked it. It was for those who may not know, so you have the Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, I think is how you say his name.
Caviar.
Cavill. Yeah, caviar. A little bit more grittier Superman, a little bit more like, just more edgy.
Yeah.
This one here is more back to the All-Star Superman, which is more of a traditional Superman. This is more of a Christopher Reeve. So if you're a fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman,
Okay.
this is actually like a very good representation of that, which I liked a lot. I like this
So a little
side of
more like
Superman.
polished, a little more like on the comic book and all that. Not so
Exactly.
not
So
so
he's
dark and gritty.
more Boy Scout, which
Okay.
is usually his nickname is him being a Boy Scout. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I recommend people go see it. Just beware that there is some language
Well,
in
I'm glad you
there.
said that because I was thinking about bringing the kids. So, because I wanted
Yeah.
to take him to see the human plant. The guy who needs to be recharged by the sun, just like a plant. So,
Yeah.
the human plant's a pretty cool superhero.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta ask something about this. Because yeah, I know we're gonna stir the pot a little bit about the Superman conversation. But
Stir away.
I'm just curious if ICE has him on their radar.
For being an alien.
He's an illegal alien.
He's
Yeah.
living
Well, all I gotta
illegal.
say is, if Superman was real, it was a real figure, and ICE was coming after him, good luck. Unless you got some kryptonite packed away, you're not deporting him anywhere.
Yeah, he's worried about the green rock, not the green card.
There you go.
Oh man, too funny. Okay, well, all right, Joe. Time to bust some bubbles. I know you are a Superman fan through and through. I know you love
Mhm.
your
Oh, yeah.
characters and all that stuff. So amongst the people who look into this stuff, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not one of those guys. Like I used to be all about. I used to think, that those were some awesome movies, all the superhero movies, right? Like they're just super awesome. They're really cool, super awesome.
Yeah, and I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a super job.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I started kind of seeing a lot of trends in a lot of the more modern versions of that, which is
Mhm.
really leaning towards that God side of
Mm,
things,
yeah.
like
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
with Thor and all that stuff. That it's easy to look at those, but even with the ones that's not too obvious, like you start seeing a lot of the um, idolization or worship kind of thing going towards these older gods that a lot of these, to be honest, was created after.
hmm
And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in what was it? I believe it was Hebrew. When I saw this, it's been a while, but
It's been
it
a
was either
while.
it was either Hebrew or Latin. I can't remember. But
Same thing.
so Superman's name from his planet is Kal El, right?
hmm
Kal-El, yeah.
Yeah. And so, well, the Kal is light in either like Hebrew or Latin, one of those two.
Mhm.
And El as a reference to like a godlike being, like Elohim
Mhm.
type thing.
Exactly.
Okay, well, in scripture, we have two individuals. Yeshua was the light of the world,
Mhm.
but Lucifer was like the morning star, the light
Light
bringer,
bearer.
light
Well,
bearer.
that's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that is debatable.
Oh,
What do you mean that's
debate.
debatable?
It's debatable. If you're
Round
talking
one,
about
fight.
here we go.
Okay, but
Actually, where it
regardless
says
of
that,
what Satan
yeah,
was, either way, Superman's being referenced by his name as
yes,
a light god.
Yeah, you keep going, Joe's gonna
yes,
be howling.
I know he's
yep.
gonna get mad about this.
Oh, I'm not gonna get. You think it's the first time I've heard anything about this?
Oh, I'm sure it ain't. I'm sure it's not.
Well, the
Yeah.
howling
So
was a fun innuendo for you guys if you do your
I,
research.
I was just curious
yeah,
what you thought about that, being as you're a fan, and I know you have probably have looked into this. So
right.
go ahead.
So the creators of Superman is Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Jerry Siegel was the writer, and Joe Shuster was the artist. Two high school friends from Cleveland, Ohio. They're both Jewish men. So this has got some. That's why I believe that they're using the word "L" in here as part of.
Hmm.
So in my theory on this is my theory, and I have no support for this whatsoever.
Okay.
Good to know.
Is for there's a meaning behind stuff when it's put out like that. So I don't think that they were intentionally doing anything to mock God in any way whatsoever. But it made me think a little bit. I was like, I wonder if these guys believed in Yeshua, and part of their way of not being persecuted, being Jewish men, was to create something that would be a savior of the world from the house of El.
Oh, a
And so,
savior.
yeah, and so
Oh.
uh,
so there was, because I mean, let's face it. I mean, especially back in the 1930s, and still today with a lot of the Jewish people, that's the word Jesus or Yeshua is not a welcome name.
Mhm.
mm,
And so, with these two guys being Jewish men, creating something of a son that was given to save the world, and from the house of El, it just made me think. I said, I wonder if there's something a little bit deeper spiritual meaning here, where they were kind of like, we're going to say it without saying it, and
Mhm.
create something in that light. So,
Yeah. Well, the S on the chest is
yeah,
a pretty interesting marker there, and giving them just
yeah,
all the powers. So, I mean, well, I understand what you're saying. Just real quick, that's my biggest complaint with Superman, as I think they were trying to make him just the most powerful. I don't know if when they originally were creating him as a character, they might have had some
he,
religious aspects to it, but I don't know if he had
yeah,
every one of those powers from day one. It's like
he didn't.
they just kind of add and add and add. After a while, I'm like, hold on, your eyeballs can see through stuff, and they got lasers, and they can get shot with a bullet, and then
Right.
you can hear everything. I mean, what, he's the ultimate spy, just make him put him in any military anywhere and just say go listen to stuff. He's
Right.
like that's a little creepy. You listening to
Yeah.
everybody everywhere. That's a little too
Yeah.
much. I don't know.
Yeah. So, it's
Maybe he's also
interesting
Santa
because
Claus.
because because with my theory of this, with my theory with this is the fact that he's raised by a mom and dad, just like Yeshua was raised by a mom and a dad.
Hmm.
And, stuff like, anyway, there's a lot of connections there. It just made me think of, I wonder if they were saying something without saying it. And to what you were saying, Jonathan, yeah. So the original Superman couldn't fly. He could
Mm,
jump. That's why it says he can leap tall buildings in a single bound,
hmm.
all that stuff. So the original Superman, so over the years,
really?
yeah, the original Superman couldn't fly. He could leap really far up in the sky and
Didn't
land.
know that.
Yeah.
Frogman.
So yeah. And so he didn't have all these powers like you see today, where he's basically just about invincible. But
Right.
I
Yeah.
will say this: with the new Superman movie, he does show vulnerability, and he actually bleeds
Oh.
in the movie. So you can see that in one of the trailers where he lands in the Arctic and hits the ice, and he's got blood coming out of his mouth and stuff. So
And see,
Oh,
I don't mind
what an
that.
interesting place for that to happen.
all I know,
Oh.
we can go down that rabbit trail all day, bro. So it's yeah, yeah,
Well, a
Hmm.
little blood from the mouth is a lot better than the one movie where he got shot with a bullet in the eyeball. I was like, at least blink. Come on. I mean, I understand. I understand bullets don't hurt you, but at least flinch. At least, think about, oh no, that could have, maybe it'll bounce off me and ricochet and hurt somebody else. Just no emotion, no feeling. I was like, hey, that's a little much for me personally.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Man of Steel, my behind. Man of Kevlar.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of history there with it, and unfortunately, what happens to guys, you know this with anything, other like Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster, they had sold the rights to Superman a long time ago, and so what happened was, I guess whoever owns the DC rights right now, I guess it's Warner Brothers,
Mhm.
and whoever's owned it over the years through the comic series, they're the ones who actually have increased his powers, made him to fly, you know, all these different things, and then all of a sudden, like you're saying, Kyle, unfortunately, what happens is all this stuff evolves into a godlike figure, and
Mhm.
that wasn't the intention. The original intention of these guys, whoever, was to make him to be a god. It was just someone who's here to be a good guy to, you know, help people out.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, wicked people get a hold of stuff and they make it into more than what it originally was intended to be.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. So we're
but
talking about outer space, where Mr. Superman guy comes from, right?
mhm.
And so something that I heard recently, which, if you want to get your mind blown, just go on the internet every once in a while and just click on a few things. So I'm blowing. This is blowing my mind. All right. So if you guys haven't heard this yet, have you heard yet that the Earth has been stuck inside of a black hole? Has this
Huh?
even has this even
What?
has this even
What?
crossed your mind at all?
No.
Yeah. The
I
current Earth that we're on right now.
mean stuck, like we're just like
No,
stuck.
no, not stuck. It's being sucked in. We are
Oh, we're actually
actively.
traveling through the black hole. Okay.
Yes, it's the giant vacuum cleaner of space, and we're inside of it. So
That sucks.
yeah, it
Yeah.
does. You ask Hoover and Dirt Devil about it. So
Good gracious.
let me read this to you. It says the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN, is at the heart of a lot of crazy conspiracy theories, including people who believe that when CERN discovered the Higgs boson in 2012, or the God particle, or whatever they're trying to do over there,
Right.
bouncing stuff off each other in a weird
Try,
circle.
trying to create Superman. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
That might be what they're trying to do. So yeah, then it goes on to say they inadvertently created a black hole. This is the theory. There's no fact behind it yet. They inadvertently created a black hole, and the Earth was sucked into it. So past tense, we're already in the middle somewhere.
Okay.
These people think that the world ended in 2012, but we haven't realized it yet. So I don't know if you guys know. This is 2025.
So the Mayan calendar was right all along.
It's all a
Mm.
circle.
Wow.
Yeah,
How about
not only the Mayan calendar. You guys remember that movie with I forgot the actor's name, but it was called 2012, when he's driving the taxi or the limo, like
yeah.
in
Oh
impossible
yeah.
land,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
flying an airplane through just whatever.
Through buildings that are falling down
Yeah,
and
the
yeah, yeah.
craziest. I mean,
Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
should have died 100 times and didn't. That
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Mhm.
So maybe there's some validity if that movie's true and the Mayan calendar is true. Maybe we're in a black hole.
Huh. That would explain a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, so I mean, what made
So,
me started really kind of thinking about more of why this is crazy, and why because with every conspiracy, there's a little bit of truth behind it, right? Or there's a little bit of like make your head scratch. So they were talking about the time, like how we're like losing minutes and losing time. I know we talked about that before on here, like the days are getting longer or shorter, just the way the Earth is spinning. So if we're in a black hole, that's how things would work. So again, I'm not saying it's real. I'm saying these are where the people kind of come up with these ideas.
okay. So help me out. Just for a little clarity here. Is
Mhm.
it just Earth that got sucked into this black hole, or is it our entire quote unquote solar system? And if so, or if not, is it so we've already ceased to exist? We just don't realize it yet somehow,
Yeah, all that.
even though children are still being born every day.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right. Just
somehow
yeah.
we're intricately flying around in a perfect circle around the sun, but we're the only ones that went in the black hole. I don't know.
Hmm.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to moi. But
Oh,
what this also has now led people to believe, because okay, so you guys heard this before, the thing with like where they have like the stuff that used to be and now is not anymore. It's the
The
Mandela
Mandela.
effect.
Mandela
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
so now those people, a part of that conspiracy theory, are now linking in with this theory of saying that's why things have started to happen with the Mandela effect, is since we've been in this black hole, we're in like an alternate universe, we're in another dimension. So then everything has changed. And so therefore the Mandela effect of the original Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia, and then the not version with the cornucopia, is because the daggone black hole.
the cornucopia was a real thing. I don't
I-
care who says it.
I synced it.
I synced it too. I synced
Yep,
it too.
I think
And
we all see.
and the Berenstein Bears and Nelson Mandela died in prison.
Yeah.
The whole night, like all of it. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
most of them.
Well, see, this is where DC comes in, guys. With the multiverse, has already been telling you all along that we're all
See,
part
it
of the
all fits
multiverse.
together.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now we have the answer. So it didn't change. We're just in a black hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
That's
I actually,
interesting.
one of the Mandela Effect things, whatever conspiracies, is that is that Ed McMahon never participated with the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes giveaway. Have you heard that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we were watching an episode of Full House, so we're kind of going back and watching some stuff that my wife and I grew up watching or whatever. So we're kind of revisiting some of that every once in a while when we're just sitting around chilling on the couch. And we were watching a Full House episode, and this particular episode, Uncle Joey, he was the comedian, right? He was the one that did the whole "cut it out," that thing. He decided it was time for him to really make a push and try to make something out of his comedy career. So he goes on Star Search. Well, Star Search was hosted by Ed McMahon, right? Well, after he submits his application or whatever, they get a letter in the mail, and little Stephanie gets the mail that day.
Was it a
And
Blue's Clues letter? We just got a letter.
it was a manila envelope.
Okay.
And she comes in running in the house, super excited, ready to tell Uncle Joey that he got a letter from Star Search because they got a letter from Ed McMahon. And what was that letter from? And you can even see it. You can even see it on the screen. You can see where it says, it's the Publishers Clearinghouse little logo and everything. And she opens it up and she says, "We could have already won $1 million." So,
Yep, you got your proof.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was during the time of Publishers Clearinghouse going on. Like it was in the middle of it. So, that would have been very, very wrong, very, very incorrect for them to do that on TV during that time, for that to air like that. I remember Ed McMahon, like in the very beginning of that, he was the one that supposedly was going to show up at your door with the big check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Give you the Jehovah's Witness treatment.
Yeah. But supposedly he never had anything to do with Publishers Clearinghouse. So anyway, that was one of my bigger ones. I don't know about you guys, but that was one of my bigger ones. So, and I just saw that. So very cool.
Yeah, that even goes into movie quotes that we've misquoted, or a lot of us have misquoted.
Never
Just
done
like
that.
in the Star Wars movie, spoiler alert if you hadn't seen it, but if you hadn't seen it by now, fine. Anyway, so we will all quote from the scene with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, and he says, "Luke, I'm your father," right? And and everybody does
think.
it. We'll get in. We'll grab an empty toilet paper roll or something, and do our mouth go, "Luke, I am your father." It's like,
Right.
and then you realize that we're misquoting the movie. So what it actually said was, he says, "Did Obi-Wan ever tell you about your father?" He goes, "Yeah, you killed him." As he's having his moment there, and he goes, "No, I am your father." So
Right.
he never says, "Luke, I am your father." He goes, "No, I am your father." So yeah, it's one of those little things like that, but we'll misquote it.
Yeah.
Another one from Snow White, where the lady's looking, or the witch is looking at whatever her name was, I forgot now. She's looking at the mirror, and what was her name?
Mirror on the wall thing.
Right.
Oh, I
So
don't know her name.
that's what we all say, right? It's like mirror, mirror on the wall. No, actually, what she says is magic mirror on the wall.
Supposedly.
So little things like that, where it's like, in our and I guess for me, all it takes is you watch a television show or you watch something that misquotes it, then everyone remembers it as being that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it just continues, and from there on. Now, one of them that I thought was interesting, which I never cared, was another Mandela effect happened to be that, excuse me, Curious George has a tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that one I could really care less. It's like, never was a big curious, but guess what? He doesn't have a tail.
Well, he
Mm.
doesn't.
But it,
He
but it,
doesn't. And they say that he never did. I remember him having a tail when I was growing up.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Although,
crazy too. All of the things that seem to change, other than like a few things, like whether Mandela died in prison or not.
Mm.
Right. All the other stuff that I've heard is pretty pointless.
Right.
right.
It's like, why are we arguing over this? But again, there are millions of people that remember history happening differently
Mm-hmm.
than the
Yep.
way we're shown. That's crazy. Now, I
Right.
get it. Yes, absolutely. I do believe that there are
So here's an important one
misunderstandings.
though. Here's an important one, Kyle. Okay, out of
Real
all those that
important.
don't matter, movie quotes, I don't care. Curious George got a tail or not, I don't care. Luke, I'm your father. Well, guess what? He was his father, whether we say it the right way or not. But here's one that they say proves we live in a multiverse.
Oh boy.
All right.
Proof now, not
Proof.
evidence, proof. Okay.
Let me look
Yep.
around. All right, nothing but me and Superman in the room. All right.
And the CIA.
So,
Go ahead.
growing up, where were you told that your heart is in your body?
Over here on the
Where were you
left side, a
told?
little bit.
Just
Left
left of
side, a little
center.
bit, little
Just
bit,
a little
just
bit.
a
Okay.
little bit.
Left of center. Yeah.
Yeah, this,
Yeah.
because whenever we said to pledge allegiance, they'd say what? Place your hand over your heart. Pledge allegiance. When I was in school, growing up, we did the pledge
I guess you
allegiance
don't want to
all
look
the
like
way
a
up
goober
through. I
like
think,
this.
middle. Yeah, it's more like, like,
What's going on?
yeah. So, but we put our hand over our left chest, right?
Yeah.
They said that's where your heart is. It's over here to the left.
No, my heart is where my
And all of a
home is.
sudden, I don't know when this started, but all of a sudden I hear things saying, "Oh no, your heart's dead in the center of your chest." I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute." I grew up my entire life being told that it was just slightly to the left, but just enough that that's where we're going to put our hand at.
Right.
And so this, for a lot of people out there, they're saying this is proof, undeniably, that we have an
Mm.
alternate universe going on, because there are people who grew up thinking, or who would say, "No, I was always told it's in the middle," and there are those who grew up saying, "No, I was always told it's on the left," and that those are the two different groups of people from the two different
Mm.
multiverses. So
Dude,
I don't
my
know.
mom would even when we would go to hug, she would always say, "No, you hug left side to left side because that's
Mm.
where your heart is." Right?
Oh, that's
Like
so sweet.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you my proof, Joe, that I can see at least why maybe it is in the center. Again, I have no idea. I'm not a scientist and I don't play one. I've never gotten an X-ray, unless everybody was doing the X-ray and kind of turned to the left a little bit to make it go on the one side. But I think the biggest proof is those Life Alert commercials. Whenever they have, it's not funny, but when they have the heart attack or whatever and they fall down, they always grab right them. And so that's they're holding their heart right there in the middle. See, it's the commercial for the
Huh.
button that sits right there. That's what it is. I think that's the proof. That's the
Yeah.
proof. It's got to be. Nobody
I
ever
had
grabs
the
the left
lady
side.
from Boston, help, falling, and I can't get up.
Well, I see I see a lot of issues being caused from these kinds of things. Even though most of these things are absolutely meaningless in the grand scheme of things, it creates a
Mhm.
lot of argument amongst people. But it just goes to show you. I mean, yeah. I mean, was Darth Vader's line changed somehow because we entered a black hole and Mandela effect happened or something? Not very likely, right? Most of us logical thinkers will look at that and go, "Nah, we probably just heard it said wrong somewhere else, and that's what stuck."
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that more important to me anyway. What seems to be a bigger issue is some of the things that we have going on today, where we hear things that have been added to or manipulated or taken a little bit of I don't know, extra added a little extra to it to spice it up a little bit. But
None of that's happened in the last 5 years.
oh, okay. Well, the TV show The Chosen,
Oh.
right?
Uh-oh. Should
Yeah.
I be
So,
pre-offended?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, granted, has it brought a lot of attention to the let's just say the idea of Christ? Absolutely, right?
Mm.
And that's awesome. But there's a lot wrong with this whole show because there's a lot of people that are taking things that are said on this TV show as if it is fact, like it's
Yeah.
biblical, like it would have been scriptural, and and it's not. There's so much stuff that's just blatantly
Yeah.
wrong, or they took a lot of liberties to add in various
To make it a good story.
characteristics. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're telling
Well,
they're
yeah.
telling a story, but they're not telling the story.
Yeah. They're telling a Superman story
Right.
with a beard.
There you
There
go.
you go. There you
There
go.
you go.
They're telling a different Jesus is what they're doing, and that's scary to me.
Yeah.
Well, Dallas Jenkins, I believe, if I remember correctly, has been on record as saying that 90% of the show is not biblical.
Mm.
Oh,
I think it's more than
I
90%.
that.
want to, anything is more now.
Yeah.
I was thinking at least 90%.
Yeah, it was at least
I'll have to
90.
look that up to verify that, but I think he said 90% of the show is not biblical.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah, because they were
You
like they
know,
were trying to relate it directly back and say, "What verse says this? Why did you film this scene?" He's like, "Well, because I wanted to. I felt like it conveyed the right message. I think it, came across the right way." But it definitely was like, "Yeah, I can't find this in the Bible. This never happened, and
right.
recorded wise, at least."
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of liberties taken with the storytelling.
Right.
Okay. So I had to look that up so I could know exactly what it was. So Dallas Jenkins, creator of The Chosen, acknowledges that a significant portion of the series is not directly from the Bible. He has stated that 95% of the
Okay,
show
95. Okay.
is not a word
You were
for
being
word
nice,
biblical
Joe.
text.
I was being nice. I didn't want to, go too far up. I was like,
Yeah, give him an
but
extra
still
5%.
90 is a lot too, but
Dude,
95 is even more. So,
they're doing worse than the Catholic Church.
well, it's
Yeah.
funny you say that because that's who's helping to promote this is the Catholic Church and the LDS.
Oh
Mm.
man.
Yeah.
What
So,
what planet did Superman come from again?
It was one of those that the Mormons gave him.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because they got collabed and then all this other stuff. So maybe it was a Mormon planet.
Oh, too funny.
Oh,
Too funny.
that was too funny. Yeah, so
So
I'll
is
give
this
you.
the episode we're getting canceled on, or
I'm surprised we made it this far.
yeah.
3
So,
guys in a
yeah.
channel. Let's see what happens.
subscribe while you can?
Well, what you're talking about, Kyle, actually happened during one of my services. Where I was doing a teaching on Peter and him fishing all night, and I won't go through the whole sermon right now, but one of the ladies in the congregation did speak up and say, "Oh, that's because Peter owed money on taxes," and I went and I just had to pause for a second to think about it, and I said, "No," I said, "That's the Chosen's version," but I said it's not in the Bible. But in
Wow.
her mind, and it's nothing against this lady, sweet lady, but that goes to show you the influence that a show can have or something like that can have over someone. And this is like probably 4 years ago.
Wow.
And she in her mind, that was exactly why Peter was fishing all night, was that he had back taxes or whatever the storyline was in The Chosen. And it
Wow.
threw me for a second when she said that. I was in the middle of the service and I was like, "I went, what?" And I was like, "No, I mean, I just literally read all that scripture." It's like
Mm,
there was nothing in there about back tax. He was a fisherman.
right.
This is what he did for a living, so that's all he was. He was just
He
fishing,
was making
but
money. Yeah.
he was making money. Yeah, he was still doing a trade. So anyway, but that goes to show you how easy something like that can get into your brain and go like, and that's all of us. All of us.
It's in there
It's not
now.
just it's any of us that can
Yeah.
happen. So we have to be very careful with that.
Exactly. Well, I've got 33 issues with the Chosen and some of the actors, but if you guys get that, it'll be funny to you another time. But like you were talking about the collaboration with the LDS, with the Catholics, and Jonathan Rumi and his connection with the Pope and stuff. There's some interesting
Yeah.
connections there. And I know you guys have seen a few of those things, but one of the things that I found recently, and I like studying, I like looking up random stuff in the interwebs, as they call it. And so you guys know about Martin Luther. I'm not talking about the king, I'm talking about
Yeah.
the old dude, the theologian.
That was a junior king anyway.
That was the small burger from Burger King. So this guy was somebody that we all growing up, especially like in the church, is like hold him to very, very high esteem. He is the face of the Protestants, right?
The man. Yep.
We were either going to be Catholic or we were going to come up underneath somewhere, somehow, some form or fashion underneath Martin Luther. He
Right.
he put his paper up on the door, nailed it, and said, these are the problems I have with the Catholic Church. So we get Protestants now because of stuff that he did. I mean, there was other people too, but this whole time with Martin Luther, we know this guy that we're holding up to high esteem. This is church father numero uno. And so, have you guys heard about his Bible that he did?
Well, I mean, I know that he put together a Bible. Yeah.
Yeah. So he put I guess it was the first or one of the first Bibles from like its original languages, some of the manuscripts from Latin and Greek into German. So German is the one that then turns into the other languages that we eventually get the English that then
Okay.
gets, spread out all over the place. So
Yeah.
first of all, the fact that made my brain blow up a little bit was guess how much it cost to buy a Bible back then just to get one book.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Like $17, right? That's gangster. No. If you guys seen that meme, that's way too funny. It's this dude holding like of 10, of 5, and $2.
Oh, my.
Yeah. But
So how
no,
much, Jonathan?
a month's wages. Like
Ooh.
a whole month
Which
of your
back
work.
then would have might have been $17, right?
I don't know why I was thinking it was more than that. I don't know why I was thinking it was like 6 months to a year or something.
Well,
But
this
So
was,
that's when
lot.
you're getting your wife a wedding ring is 6 months to a year's wages. So
How crazy is
Oh.
that? We
Yeah.
value a wedding ring over
the word of God.
scriptures. Yeah. That's so bad.
Well, I mean, lucky for us, look how much we take advantage of. We got one on our phone, our computer, 13. I mean, I've got a bunch over here on my little bookshelf. It looks like you guys have bookshelves. So, we've got Bibles forever. Back then, it was a coveted item, something that you didn't eat for a month if you wanted to buy a Bible. So they had to go to like school or the
Wow.
church or the library to just even interact with the Bible. We get to read it all the time. So it cost a whole month's salary to even get a Bible. Blows my mind. Then
Right.
Mr. Martin Luther, right? So this is the part I'm getting at. I'm thinking, oh, he's A plus, right? Everybody, it's Martin Luther. He's A plus. So in his Bible that he wrote, guess how many books were in the Bible he wrote? Just guess.
I don't know.
Yeah,
76.
close. Hey, you are winner, almost dinner. It was 75.
Oh, man.
And so
Okay.
75 books. Our Bible today has 66, and that's the inspired only, right? It can only be 66 and 66 only. His Bible that he translated had 75.
So did he split up books, or did he have some of the other things in there, like apocryphal type texts? Or
Exactly. So he had the
okay,
whole Old Testament, and then he's like, I have these extra books that are awesome, and we've been maintaining them, keeping them as scripture. So I don't know where to put them. He put them in between the Old and New Testament because those pages were irrelevant back then. There's no such thing as old and new. They're just pages people put in the Bible.
right?
It was just a big list of scrolls. So he put them in the middle. Some of the books were, let's see, Judith, Wisdom, Tobit, Sirach, Baruch, First and Second Maccabees, and some extra stuff with Esther and some extra stuff with Daniel.
Okay.
So in his Bible, the one, remember this Martin Luther, A plus dude, he's got extra books. In
How about
today's
that?
world, what would we call somebody who had a Bible with extra books in it? What do we call that person? A heretic? Crazy? Out of their mind? What are you doing?
Oh, dude, like there's a guy on YouTube that he is like extreme Baptist, right? Like he's pounding on the pulpit and he's yelling at people and telling them what he really thinks about them. I mean, he holds nothing back, right?
Yeah, you can't get a message across without pounding.
Right.
Yeah.
Calling people names, all kind of stuff, right? And if you even bring up any of the extra biblical, apocrypha means hidden,
Right.
right? If you
Right.
bring up any of those books, because he is King James only, buddy. Like
Oh, he
will-
loses his mind.
so you know exactly who I'm talking
Oh, I
about.
know exactly who you're talking about. He loses. I'm talking about when you say when he hits the podium with his fist.
Uh-huh.
It's a good thing it's made out of solid wood because they probably would have destroyed it by now. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've seen him hit it a bunch of times.
Dude, this guy gets so fired up, and he is King James only, and he will
Mm.
call you all kind of
Well,
names just for even mentioning another book. What the crazy thing is, though, is I don't know how much later the King James come out from when Martin Luther did his thing,
Like
because I don't
50,
remember.
60, 70 years. I mean, it's within like a century.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
There's overlap.
right, but the original 1611 King James version had apocrypha in it.
A whole bunch of them too.
Yep.
Right. So if you're going to be King James only, why not go to the original King James, not the one
Right.
that was
Yeah.
modified and modified and modified?
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was like 80 books in the 1611, 80-ish, 80
Yeah,
or
I
maybe
think
more
I
than
think
that.
you're
I
right with
think it was
that.
a little over 80, yeah.
Yeah, so it even had
I'll
even
look
more
that real
than
quick.
it had even more than Martin Luther's. So now, if that wasn't heresy enough, right? So we're gonna say the guy A+ dude is allowed to add a bunch of books to the Bible because, well, there was never a rule that it had to be 66 until later on. But you want to hear something even crazier?
Wow.
This guy, Martin Luther, said there was books that he had major disputes with. Do you want to guess what some of these books are?
It was 80, by the way.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was
80
80.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He
get
had major disputes with books.
major disputes. Like he wanted them removed from the canon. So he already added those other books. Now he wants books that he wants to be taken out. He says these are not good enough to be in the Bible. Take them out.
I think I heard of this, but what I don't remember what the books were though. I think I do remember hearing something about this though.
Yeah. So the books that he said, I don't like these. If possible, take these out. Now,
Okay.
before I give you the answers, he's in a council with all these people, and they're like, no, dude, we can't let you do that. Like if it was up to him, you would not have these books in your Bible today, or at least not in the same history of how things played out. If it wasn't for the group of men that said, hey, dude, these are good stuff, leave them in there. So they ended up doing some concessions, and they said, all right, Martin Luther, dude, listen, chill. We'll put them all the way in the back. That's what Martin Luther's rule was. He's like, I'll let you keep them, but you got to put them in the back by the maps, way in the back, with the leather flap at the end, with the cover. That's how far back he put them. So the books are James, Jude, Hebrews, Revelation. He even had problems with 2nd Peter and 2nd and 3rd John. Said,
wow.
I don't know if these are inspired. I don't know if these are even worth being in the Bible. Throw them in the back, and hopefully nobody reads that far.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Martin Luther. This is Mr. Protestant.
Revelation is literally the revealing of our Messiah.
Yeah. I mean, what's to say at the beginning? Blessings for reading this book.
Yeah,
He's like, no, delete it.
Those who hear and read this book, blessing, just for doing that.
Well, the thing about the book of Hebrews, how important that is, guys.
Yep.
I mean, the book of Hebrews breaks down the whole role of Messiah as under the priesthood of Melchizedek. I mean, we don't really get that fullness of that understanding anywhere else.
Right.
And so there's, that's crazy, man.
And then we have Peter, who, goodness gracious, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great stuff from Paul, but I mean, again, the way that he explained things can be difficult for people to understand.
Right.
Peter clarifies that for us.
That's why they wanted to get it out.
And he's very to the point in his writings, don't do this, don't do this, whatever. And by the way, Paul can be a little, sometimes, but what he's saying is true. Let me clarify,
Yeah,
we wouldn't have that.
And all that. And James is my favorite book. I was like, hey, me and listen, if Martin Luther
was to have a problem.
Exactly. Me and him are going to go fisticuffs. I think that's what they used to call it back in the day. So if you here, son, come on, fight me. But if you look at the way Martin Luther was walking with this canon conversation, if you were to transplant him from then until today, this dude would be a heretic. He'd be shunned from every YouTube channel, every church. He'd be the worst. Like, we would never allow this dude in the building. Like, I don't even like those books. Throw them out. Here, let me add in all these other books. Let me tell you about all my disputes and stuff. But yet, because, history's kind to people, and he did translate into German, so we have to be thankful. We don't get what we get without him doing that, and we don't get the Protestant movement without him doing that. So, you got to say thank you for the good, but also here's where you messed up, right? And that's fair. But, in the Christian world, or in any religious world, we find certain figures, certain people, and we just elevate them to the moon. Nobody can ever talk bad about Martin Luther or John, whoever. Pick a guy, right? Nobody can ever say anything bad about these people. And you're like, oh man, they have some crazy stuff going on. Like, it blows my mind that was his opinion, was get rid of these books. Some of my favorite books.
I am surely glad that did not stick.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, 100%. Most Christians elevate Paul above Jesus. They misunderstand him,
right?
Which is why they do. But they elevate his words higher than the Messiah's.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
That's crazy to me.
Yep.
Speaking of dangerous.
Uh-oh.
And then there's also people who deny all of Paul altogether. But anyway.
None of us.
Speaking of dangerous. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Speaking of dangerous. So we done talked about Superman. We've talked about the black hole. We've talked about alternative universes, Mandela Effect.
Can it get any worse?
I know,
yeah, stuff wanting to be ripped out of the Bible, and then now you guys heard of Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lady, and so there's a lady I was going through YouTube world, and there's a lady on there. Her name is, I wrote her name down. Her name is Renee Simpson,
Okay.
and she has a little short video of her saying that she went to chat
There it is.
GPT and asked it to interpret her tongues, speaking in tongues.
What?
And so,
So she
yeah,
like pushed the record
man,
button,
she recorded herself praying in tongues.
and
Sounded
I'm
then
gonna
like
say
okay.
this: we all know that there's enough controversy around because we're talking about Bible again. So that's why I'm bringing this in here right now. So we're talking about Bible. We're talking about things being misunderstood, things being done a way that should, or being done in a way that should not be. And so this lady goes on there and asks Chat GPT to interpret her prayer in
Mm,
tongues. So she records it, uploads it, and now she doesn't. The thing about it is she doesn't show any evidence of anything, which I find suspect a little bit.
a little bit.
hmm.
She doesn't show anything. Now, what she says happened was that it asked her, "Is this a prayer?" And she replies, "Yes." And then it interprets the prayer, and then again, she doesn't show any of this, which again is suspect to me. But she said that Chat GPT interpret her speaking in tongues in prayer and is exactly what she feels like she was saying.
Hmm.
Even though she doesn't know exactly what she was saying, but that it
Right.
lined up with what she was thinking in her
Hmm.
prayer. I was
Interesting.
like, "What?
Well, and
Hold
what
on.
I've
Wait a
heard is
minute."
people are typing their like it's like cheating. You type in your prompt or what you want it to say, and then you just put the like little AI voice on there, and you just push play of whatever you put in there. Like how people do that with Google. They're like
Sure.
they'll ask a question in Google like, "Is it okay to hit somebody over the head?" And then they'll remove the words they put in and be like, why should you hurt somebody? It's like, oh, because if you hit somebody in the head, blah blah blah. So the question isn't the actual answer. So people what they'll do is
Mm,
they'll ask a question and then they'll type in their own answer and then push play and then say, see, this is the answer to my prayers. And you're like, no, but you typed that in. I know what you did.
Hmm.
There's
yeah.
no, because
So,
sometimes if you go back and fact check, this stuff is off the wall wrong. But it
Yeah.
said, listen, what Chat GPT told me. No, it didn't. Now this one, I
yeah.
mean, I wasn't there. I can't verify.
But you said she didn't show any evidence of anything. She just told you what it
She
supposedly
just
said.
said this is what happened, and I was
Hmm,
like, that made me a little bit suspect. I'm like, really? Because if it actually did everything you said, and you were smart enough to upload this and do all this stuff with your computer, then you should be smart enough to at least show everybody, hey, and this is what it said back.
right.
Right.
So that's where I was like, yeah, but the scary part is, guys, is that this is another one of those
A little bit of mixing.
things where it's like you just I don't know, man. That's just
Isn't that
I
supposed to be a language that is personal between your heart, not even your mind, just your heart connecting with the Father and the Holy Spirit
yes,
does the interpretation
yes,
somehow, right?
yes,
That's what that's supposed to be?
If
yes,
it's the
And that
prayer,
yes.
yeah.
right, and now we're using but hey, we're not supposed to do it without an interpreter, right? So
Oh,
so so
loophole.
so we found a loophole, and now we're using something that
Please
has been
interpret.
right, something that's been talked about a lot,
Mm,
having things to do with the demonic world
yeah.
as the translator.
Few
What could
lying
Yes.
signs and
possibly go
wonders.
wrong?
What could go wrong, right? I mean, I don't see the problem.
Well,
So,
and so what else I'm wondering is, normally at least from what I've been told, right? I'm not this guy, so you guys already know I'm pretty cut and dry when it comes to Bible stuff. But if you're speaking in tongues, isn't it supposed to be like a spontaneous thing from the Holy Spirit that just happens?
Right, right,
So
right.
so you're
The
telling me
Holy
she's like,
Spirit doing it supposedly.
right. So then now you're in the moment, you're like, hey, I'm about to speak in tongues. Let me hit record real quick. So I make sure I keep this for evidence. Okay, God, I'm ready to speak in tongues now. Please proceed. And then you're like, I'm done. And you sure you're finished? You don't have anything else? All right, push the end button. Let
which
me let me
all
go
right,
ask the
so
internet what this means instead of just
let
ask
me let
God.
me let me take this on a
Right.
little bit further trip. So,
Oh boy. Do I need to
let me
buckle up?
try to be yeah, a little bit.
Click click.
So,
Dude, what are we coming to?
I think people misuse what they call the gifts of the Holy Spirit a lot.
Mm,
And let's so suppose this whole chat GPT thing is connected to demonic things and you're speaking in a language that you don't know.
mm,
But what if it's not the Holy Spirit speaking through you? What if it is something demonic speaking through you and it is interpreting what you were saying because it understands what you were saying because it was through an entity that was not the Holy Spirit? I'm not saying it wasn't, but I'm just saying that when we look at the Kundalini spirit, we look at all these things that are out there, subject for another time, that they literally mimic and look exactly like all the things that are quote unquote happening in Christian churches all across America. So
Yeah.
if this is something of the demonic, wouldn't the demonic be able to interpret the demonic? So I'm just throwing it out there. That's all. This,
Well, and one level worse than that, if this is a biblical language, you're now giving it to the internet. You're saying, here, let me upload my conversation with God that's supposedly one-on-one, that's
yeah,
secret-ish something, give it to the internet, and then now guess what other people can do? Hey, Chat GPT, please talk to me in tongues. And they're like, oh, I've got a full repository of information that I'd love to share with you. Listen to this. And then proceed to speak in tongues because they've had 900 uploads of, well, we know what it sounds like, and it all sounds like this. So
right.
play. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
That's
and then so
scary
now
stuff,
you
man.
could do that to anybody. You're like, listen, God has a word for you. Oh, yeah, see, it was tongues. And can you argue it? Because it was tongues.
Oh man. What about the image that speaks?
Oh, yeah, just put it
Mm,
inside of those animatronic like little people from back in the day.
uh,
Click, put a little Bluetooth speaker in it. Done, easy.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, everybody wants to hear God's voice, right? Why not use ChatGPT to do it, or
Well, they
one
did
of the
have
other
they had the AI church. You seen that one where they're like
Hmm.
the whole church is AI? Like all the
No,
sermons are, yeah. It's like they have an image type
what?
thing in the front, and then they go and
Yep.
they do a prompt for like teach me a sermon about God's love, and then it's the whole sermon that's built by ChatGPT or some AI program. It's a
Hmm.
3-part sermon with an intro, with this or
Yeah.
that, everything that you need, and the whole church is AI. There's no pastor, there's no need for a pastor because the sermons are built for you because of the internet.
Mm.
So we're already going that way. This a real
Yeah.
church. Like right now, go
This
Google it.
this is definitely going into the direction of the image of the beast.
Yay.
Yay! Happy days.
Yeah. Man,
Ooh,
that's too
ooh.
much.
So
That's too
not only
much.
do we have Mandela effects, we got black holes, we got CERN opening up portals. I mean, now we got to deal with this. It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it doesn't really matter because Earth ended in 2012 anyway, right?
exactly.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
What's that
no
one
big
song?
deal.
Black Hole Sun? Maybe that's what that song was about this whole time.
Oh, dude, hey, listen,
Uh,
I don't want to
it,
yeah.
listen.
I shared this with Joe. I don't know, a year or two ago, something like that. But
Mm,
Yeah.
we were talking about song lyrics and how stuff is just kind of hidden in there, or whatever.
mm.
I mean, I used to sing that song every time it come on the radio, dude. Look at what the words are to some
Oh
of
yeah.
these songs that we used to sing, and that's a pretty rough one there too. But I
Hmm.
mean, if people would actually
Yeah.
just take the time to actually pay attention to the words that they're singing along to, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah, it's tough.
dude, the enemy doesn't have to curse us. We curse ourselves
Hmm.
all the time, and we chant it, and hey, we'll even pay money to go see somebody help us,
Mm-hmm.
influence us to curse ourselves.
Yeah. Well, how about this one? The what's that song? The Spirit in the Sky. Yeah,
Yeah,
that doesn't have any meanings at all, right?
no,
There's a
no.
friend, there's a spirit in the sky. You're like, oh, who's the Lord of the Air again? Interesting.
I've actually heard that played in a church before.
Ooh, now we're talking. Yeah,
Um,
Dude,
I want to check this out. Let me see if I can pull up this whole.
the black
Uh,
hole.
no, this
okay.
is actually a newer
Yeah, don't
song.
pull that up.
Um,
No.
check this out. So, a lot of people know who Harry Styles is,
Hmm.
Okay, yeah,
popular singer, and all that stuff. Anyway, so there's a song called "The Sign of the Times," and
okay.
just the very beginning of it says, "Just stop your crying. It's a sign of the times. Welcome to the final show. I hope you're wearing your best clothes. You can't bribe the door on the way to the sky. You look pretty good down here, but you ain't really good." It says, "If we never learn we've been here before, why are we always stuck and running from the bullets, the bullet? We never learned. We've been here before. Why are we always stuck running from the bullets? Then it goes back into it's a sign of the times.
Mm,
But the very beginning of this lyric, because I heard this song not too long ago, and it says, "You can't bribe your way to the door on the way to the sky."
hmm
I was
Hmm.
like, mm. So yeah. So just something about those lyrics just start making me think about there's something a little bit more to this song than just him, you know, writing a
Yeah,
song.
yeah, dude. There's some. There's a couple of YouTube channels out there. I know Little Light Studios. They put out some pretty decent content. Regarding they dive into a lot of the media side of things, whether it be music or movies or whatever, and all the stuff, all the evil behind it, and where this stuff comes from, and what. Pretty neat. If you haven't checked them out, but check them out, man. They got some
Yeah,
crazy
they
stuff
do a
on
really good job on that, Kyle. I agree. Yeah, just breaking down a lot of stuff.
there.
hmm
Yeah. Mm.
So yeah. So kind of transitioning a little bit, guys. So John MacArthur, he passed away. If you didn't hear about
Oh,
that. So
Yeah.
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
he'd been battling health issues for a little while. So he passed away on July 14th. 86 years old. So I mean, I give a hand to the man. I just a clap to him because he served in the ministry for 56 years.
Now,
He was,
was he still preaching when he died?
yeah, I believe
Mm,
so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was hospitalized. Jonathan, maybe you remember. I think he was hospitalized last year.
I think so.
I think it was last year he was hospitalized, and as soon as he got to the hospital, he was right back to the
hmm
podium, just
Hmm.
still preaching the word of God. Loving, hating, whatever your thoughts your thoughts are on him. But
Yeah, it was sad when he was in the
um,
hospital because a lot of people were saying, they were saying some pretty ugly stuff about his stance over the last, what happened in the last 5 years. Of like, he took a pretty strong stance on that. They were like, "Yeah, you get what you deserve," or "That's what you get for not, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Hey,
yeah,
man, we don't do that. Like, even if you don't like somebody."
no.
Wow.
I would say out of all the people, hopefully nothing comes up here in the next 6 months about anything nefarious about him. But
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
tough
it
for
Right.
will. I
pastors
think
these days.
it's tough, man, because so many pastors have fallen in the last 10 years.
hmm
Yeah.
But he was one of those guys. He was a gritty, just straight up preach the word. I didn't agree with all his theology, but that's okay. But I would say that you saw his heart every time he preached, and I think his
Yeah,
heart was in the right place
he seemed like a solid
with a
dude.
lot of things. Yeah.
Dude, it's
So
it's 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 bad that that's happening. Like I would, if somebody's involved in something bad, obviously I want it to come out, right?
Mm,
But
right.
like I don't know if you guys remember Ravi Zacharias.
yep.
He passed away, and
Yeah,
that man was an apologist like you wouldn't believe, and he reached a lot of people. And now his content is wiped from the internet because of the accusations that come out after he died.
hmm
yep,
Well, why not say something when the man has the opportunity to defend himself? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, why not say something when there's an opportunity for him to receive, justice, punishment
Mm,
if he's guilty of this stuff? Now you're going to badmouth him after he dies. Now, obviously, if he did it, I want the truth out. But at the
hmm
same time, we'll never know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and now that I don't even know how many hours of content that's good content is just wiped from the internet.
yeah, and I
You
think
know?
that
yeah,
it's hard because you get that mentality, like we talked about with Martin Luther. Like, once you hold somebody to such a high level, you can't say anything bad about them. You can't say anything bad about what's the guy from Charlotte? Man, I'm really dating myself. The older guy,
oh,
he's the whole
older guy.
library. Yeah, he's dead now, and his
Oh,
son
you talking about Billy Graham?
Billy Graham.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's some
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
some stuff came out about him, and people were just like, "Nope, don't care, not gonna ever hear it." Billy Graham is the best dude in the world. Never
Uh,
gonna. Once we put somebody in a certain point in our life, at a certain place, they're not willing to let that fall. So, like, I think even
uh,
with Ravi, they're like, even if they did find out while he was still living, they're like, "It's a man of God. It's a man of God. I don't care. Don't speak against God's anointed."
yeah, I never heard anything about Billy Graham,
Oh yeah,
but
he's
then
he's got
again, I
he's got some
wasn't looking
secrets
for
that, at least
yeah.
what
He
I
got he
found.
got some. He's got some skeletons in the closet, but with Mr. MacArthur, he is survived by his wife Patricia, his 4 children, 15 grandchildren, and 9
Wow.
great-grandchildren.
Hey, good job.
So, in the Christian world, it says it describes him as a lion of the pulpit, which I would definitely say, and a faithful servant. So, you know, peaceful crossover, my friend. And I hope that you get to hear or you have already heard the words that we hope to all hear. Well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, one of
So,
the memories I have of John MacArthur is something funny he said one time, and it's always stuck with me because we were talking about the different books and the canon and all that, but he said something that has always made me laugh, a little internal chuckle, if you call it. So, direct quote, I'm not putting words in his mouth. He said, "If you don't have it in the 66 books of the Bible, God didn't say it."
Yeah.
That's a tough one for me. I was like, there's no way, man. Like he obviously said a lot of other stuff. There's books that aren't even there's books in the
well,
Bible that are talking about other
yeah,
books in the Bible. Like, what do you mean? That's he didn't if it's not in the 66, he didn't say it.
Why?
yeah,
It's literally quoted in the Bible. It's
Right.
literally quoted in the Bible. And by the way, this is somebody who's a Trinitarian who believes that Jesus is God, right?
Hmm.
And it's quoted and said in the Bible that if they were to have wrote down everything that Jesus said, there wouldn't be enough books or libraries to
yeah.
hold it
The
all.
world could contain it. Yeah.
Right. What was the conversation that he had with Moses on the mountain? What was the wrestling match that Jacob had? Like they were just silent the whole time. This is an old like silent film.
They were speaking in the spirit. It was uninterpreted tongues.
Oh yeah.
Uninterpreted.
Shamalama ding dong.
There you
Yeah.
go.